Good morning, everyone. This is Stacy Turner, and we are here with the DMOpro Zoom. I'm so thankful to have you joining us this morning. And I wanted to chat with you guys about a couple things. One, I did get to see quite a few of you at Blue Ridge, and I love it when somebody's like, "Hi, Stacy," and I don't necessarily always recognize you because it's like it shows me the first 5 people on Zoom, and I'm looking at that, not necessarily like all of the participants, but that you guys are finding value in these and that you keep coming back to them. Seriously, it's a huge honor. And I'm just grateful for each of you here. If you guys weren't, coming on and participating, this would not be the same content that we get to share with everyone. And it was just a joy to be able to go somewhere different. And I encourage you guys, if you've never gone to that Blue Ridge boot camp with Juice Plus, to make the investment to go. It's gorgeous setting anyway. It's just beautiful. It's quite the trek to get there because you have to fly to Atlanta and then drive. We flew into Birmingham, and but we got to get to see some friends and family when we lived in Alabama. Got to spend some time with customers and team members, and boy, I just found like just spending time with people that, I feel like I'm communicating to them through Voxer from far away. I feel like I'm trying to encourage them, and I'll send them a, personal text, and I have the project broadcast information that goes out. But there is nothing better than sitting down over coffee or lunch and just like digging into their life and like seeing where they're at and just being an encouragement to them. And I realized, I'm not going to build my Alabama team again until I go back there more often, and how important it is to be with people. And I think, even a community like this, it is super important, but it's not as impactful as when we can be in person. And so I just encourage you to go spend time with them. I, bought lunch for my customers and for anyone that showed up. I just kind of said, these are the places that I'll be, and I would love for you to come see me. And I had a couple people, one of them, okay, so when I moved to Alabama, she was a rep on some other team, and she was doing pretty good with Juice Plus. I locked arms with her. We became friends. Then she just let go of her distributorship. She was just a customer. She got into real estate. She was a real estate agent for us. She helped us buy and sell a couple of houses there. And then she stayed as a customer to me, like her upline had dissolved and went away. And then, just kind of through the years, she got distracted or whatever. So she came to see me though for that lunch that I was at, and I got to just talk to her, ask her, some questions about her health issues that she had been having and if she was doing better. And I had some resources to be able to share with her. And so I shared those resources. I said, text me, because I'll probably forget to send them to you. If I don't send it to you the next couple of days, text me and remind me. And she did. And so I said, here's the resources on some homeopathy stuff. And I really think we need to get you back on Juice Plus. And so she replied back, thanks for the resource. And yeah, let's talk Juice Plus next week. And so that was just someone I had built some connection to. But that's another thing. It's like community connection, being in person with them, but then also being a resource makes a big difference. If you can be a resource on something, anything else, then that really can lend well to that conversation continuing forward. And we saw that in another way this weekend with my daughters. They had a booth at the fair, and they were selling the crafts and things that they make. And one of them sells these dolls that we buy online, and there was a lady that saw one of them. It was sold, and she was like, it was the most beautiful baby like ever. Where did you get it? I have to have one, I don't know, for her grandbaby or something. So Brielle said, I'm gonna just give her the link to where we bought that one, Mom. So she looked back through our resources, found the link, and went over and talked to her. And I said, when you go talk to her about Juice Plus, because Brielle's turning 18 in August, and she's ready to do Juice Plus with me. And she's like, Mom, that's too far, that's too much. And I was like, do it, just talk to her. So she comes back, and I said, did you talk to her about Juice Plus? And she was like, no, I couldn't do it. I just gave her the resource for the baby. And I was like, Brielle. So then I, did some work, and then I was working while they were doing their stuff. It was kind of fun. We just hung out all week. But then I said, okay, I'm going to go talk to her. then if you didn't, I'm going to go do it. So I went back up there and just started a conversation, talked with her and her husband. And then at the end, I just simply said, I'm just curious, have you guys ever heard of Juice Plus before? And she was like, no, what is that? So I told her what it is. And she's like, I'm sick all the time. I just got off of antibiotics 4 days ago. I'm already feeling sick again. And he's like, she's sick all the time. So we have this long conversation. I come back and they were like, Mom, where were you? And I said, where do you think I was? And they said, did you talk to her about Juice Plus? I was like, yes, guys, that's what we're here for. Like, yes, I talked to her about it. Was she interested? Yes. Did you get her information? Yes. And like, the next day I brought samples and gave her samples and had a discussion about how to order and all that. So Brielle says, but Mom, you're just so good at it. And I said, no, I just said, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? And sometimes that's the basic question just to get the conversation started. Like I had built some rapport and Brielle was right. Like be a resource to her about something else, offer help in some other area. And then that rapport is built enough that someone will listen to hear your story or they want to know what else you have to offer. And so I just thought that those were two good examples. But what I really wanted to share with you guys is a story from the fair. And I want to tie this back to our business as well. So I get there one day and the girls tell me, Mom, there's a flower contest and it was right behind the wall that they had their booths on and you can make flower arrangements and then they get entered into the contest. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I want to do it. Let's go. Like, what is this? And so we go in and there's this table and it has all these tiny little arrangements. They're in this little cup and these little tiny arrangements. So I'm like, okay, what is it? And they said, you have to pick your greens and you pick your flowers and you pick whatever and you make this arrangement. So the lady that works the flower department, she happened to be in there. And I said, okay, I'm kind of not understanding what's the theme of all of this. And she said, it has to do with Route 66. All of these other, arrangements have been entered into different categories of Route 66 monuments or stopping places along the route. And that's what this is. And so that's what the flower arrangement is for. And I said, okay, I kind of understand that, but like there's a whole table, they all kind of look alike. I think it would be super hard to be the judge. How do you know who's gonna, like, how would the judge know which one? Like they just pick the one that they think is prettiest. And she said, no, it's supposed to look like this is about the Buckingham Fountain. And I was like, Buckingham Fountain, I don't know what that is. Can I look it up online? And she said, yeah. So I look it up and I said, so the flower arrangement is supposed to look like Buckingham Fountain. Is that what you're telling me? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I made the flower arrangement to look like a fountain. And my girls were like, hey, nobody told us those rules. Like nobody said it was supposed to look like a fountain. They just made an arrangement. And you could clearly see everyone else did too. They just, made this arrangement and just how they thought what was pretty or whatever. And so I just thought, if I'm going to be in this contest and this is how my brain goes, I'm in it to win it. Like flower arranging is fun. I like to do flower arranging. I worked at a flower shop at one point. Like I know how to do floral arrangements, and I would not have made this floral arrangement like I did. But that was the objective, is to make it look like a fountain. If it looked like a fountain, I was more likely to win. So I made it look like a fountain. And so in the end, mine won first place, which was funny because we walked back in and with the adults, you could, one person won. But I looked at the picture of the fountain and then I made it to look sort of like a fountain. And my girls were like, I can't believe you won. You won out of all the adults. And I said, because it looks like a fountain. I knew what the objective was. I knew what I was what I was aiming for. And so then I adjusted my flower arranging mindset or skills to win the prize, which is a ribbon. It's nothing. It was absolutely nothing. There was no money attached to it, nothing fun like that. But I wanted to win it. And so we were laughing about it. And then Brielle kind of used that same thing with a contest with these cookies that she made, and she got third place, and she did win money for that one. So I just wanted to tie that back in. I was thinking about it. Like I said, if I just went in to make a flower arrangement, it would not have looked like the fountain. I would have made it to look like I liked it and how I want to do a flower arrangement. But because the objective was to win the contest, I wanted the ribbon, I wanted to win, then I made it look like a fountain. That was the rules. That was what the objective was. In the end, I moved my expectations and I met that. So what does that have to do with our Juice Plus business? Can you guys maybe make a couple of connections? Are you starting to think, where is she going with this? Or maybe have you thought this? What is the objective of why we're here? What are we here for? We've talked about that before. Like, really, why are we here? First of all, upon any conversation with a team member, new team members especially, they say, I'm not here for the money. I'm just here for... Yeah, Lisa says, know your goal. That's right. I'm just here to help people, right? Okay, I'm in it for that too. If we were not in it to help people, we're not going to go very far, right? On the other side of things, we have a compensation plan and we have different levels within that. And you can qualify for commissions, you can qualify for bonuses. Like, there's also that side of the objective. We have to marry both with the heart of I'm helping people along the way. But let's just we'll go on the helping people first, and then we're going to come back to the titles here in a second. If our goal is to help people, if that's the objective, in the end, if the point is that people get on Juice Plus because of the conversations we have, if the point is just to share Juice Plus, okay, that's one side, right? I'm going to tell people about Juice Plus. Or is the end game you want them to be on Juice Plus? I figured it out really quickly. I can talk to people about Juice Plus, but they don't get on Juice Plus just from me talking to them. I was telling a lot of people about Juice Plus, but they weren't starting and taking it. And so if I just want to talk to people about Juice Plus, I just want to help them. Am I helping them if they never take it? So if the point is not just to share Juice Plus with others, the point is to get them to take their Juice Plus, right? So that's shifting it. So from sharing Juice Plus to them taking it faithfully, in the middle is they have to order, right? And then after ordering, we start the customer care to get them to really take Juice Plus. So the conversation starts here. We talk to them about it. What's the system that you have? What's the process of getting them to the point that they order? Do you know what that looks like? Is it just casually mentioning Juice Plus to people? If it comes up in conversation. How many times has some team member told you that? I love the thought of that, but it doesn't happen. You have to be intentional. I had to go up to that lady and start the conversation and lean into her life and spend a little bit of time with her and find out what she was doing and why she was selling what she was and where they lived and what they loved about it. And then I was able to ask her, hey, by the way, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? I didn't know if there was a need there. There's always a need for fruits and vegetables, right? Like, it's so simple. We have something that everybody can take, something we can offer to everyone. So I had to start the conversation intentionally. I didn't just wait until it casually came up. My girls would love for them to have walked up and said, hey, do you have fruits and vegetables in a capsule? I have an immune system that's not so strong right now. Like, how would they know to ask us, So they would love that. But outside of that comfort zone, the objective is to help people take Juice Plus to get healthier, right? Because if they take it, or if they order it and they don't ever take it, then we're not helping them either. We have to get them into that habit of taking it. So there's a process of getting them from the conversation to ordering. You guys open up, everyone's muted. If you want to say something, share. What's some of the things that we do from the process of conversation to the point of ordering? What's your system? What do you do when you get into the conversation and then you're taking them to the point of ordering? Do you have a series of things that you do? You guys share with me. And remember, you're muted, so if somebody wants to share, unmute with me.
I'll share.
Okay.
One thing that I do is I just build on that relationship, and I want to be able to either send them a video or hand them some gummies or something of that sort, that I have a reason to reach out again. I want to be able to, it isn't like to maybe get them started right then, unless they're one of those, 5%ers that's all on board, like I want it, don't stop me, get out of my way, which that doesn't happen very often. Then that's, I just think of, okay, what would be my next step to connect, and my next step to connect, to keep connecting till they're ready to get started.
Perfect. Okay, Cindy gave us a really clear path. She said, and somebody else put it in it, you're asking questions to get more information, to see how you can be another resource or what's going to really speak to their need. And that's going to shift your conversation. It's going to shift your story. It should, to where it's relating more to that person's need versus just telling all about yourself, right? We want to shift that conversation, shift that story to where it meets the need that they had. The second thing she talked about is giving them a resource, sending them a video. She doesn't have to be the expert. She doesn't have to tell all. She doesn't have to be the one that says all the things about Juice Plus. She's going to let somebody else do the talking, the convincing, if you will. I want that to come from a doctor. That place is going to come, that decision is going to come from a much deeper why. And that's going to drive them. That's going to build their belief to actually purchase. And then the third thing, I don't know if you caught it in there, she talked about expectation. She didn't say the word, but she said, I know, most people aren't going to say yes right away. So she's managing her own expectation of the follow-up process is going to be multiple touching points before they get to the place that they order. So those three things, that's it. So she's asking questions to make it relevant to them, sends them a resource. So it could be it's videos first off for us, and then probably inviting to events, a series of exposures over time, and following up with them with the expectation of they're not going to order right away. Maybe 5% of people order right away. I don't know. Maybe it's like 2%. It's always a series of events that people like, conversations and touch points before they order. So in that asking for the order, that's sometimes we get stuck in here, right? Give them a resource, invite them to an event, follow up with them. What do you think of the video? How did you, we'll give them another resource. We'll tell them another story. We'll go through all of those things. What about the point of asking for the sell? You guys give me some feedback. What are some things you do to ask for the sell to get them to actually order? Someone unmute yourself.
Hi, it's Lita.
Hey, Lita.
Sometimes I'll say, is there anything else you need from me to help you make this decision? Yeah. And so they might say something, or maybe not, or I'll say something. Do you have a frequent flyer card? I like to put all my product on that. So I'm always assuming they're going to order. I have my form out in front of me. I have my other laptop form that I want to start filling out, and just say, I'm circling around, I'm putting in some orders today, and I want to make sure I don't leave you out. So that's another indication of that I value them and their friendship and whatever. And I want to make sure I get the right program for you. So sometimes product sounds a little product-y. So if I say program or the right system or the right thing for your particular family, I want to make sure you get the best possible price for your product. So sometimes they will, really appreciate that. Well, I have a 16-year-old. Well, let's have the 16-year-old sponsor one of the other kids, because they're going to be taking an adult order. Oh, I have a kid at college. Let's have one of the kids at college sponsor one of their friends. And so it takes a conversation with me. I like to be on the phone with them.
Perfect, Alita. So much goodness there. There's so much good in that. One, she talked about a positive mindset. I don't know if you guys caught that. She's assuming that they are going to order. So she's not assuming that it's too expensive for them. She's not assuming they don't have it in their budget. She's not assuming that she's bothering them. If you go to those places in your head, you will not make those calls. Second thing, she tries to do it in person, either on a phone call, a Zoom, a FaceTime, in person, one-on-one. When you get to the point where you're asking for that sale or they're asking price, get on the phone with them. That's so important, Alita. Thank you for sharing that. And then she's, like I said, she's assuming that they're going to order. And then in huge service, did you hear the questions that she asked? Those were excellent questions in service to the other person. It wasn't for her own gain. Hey, I'm this close to a promotion and I need this many more orders. Would you be willing to place an order to help me get to that? Have you ever gotten a text from someone like that? I have, not on Juice Plus. We would never, ever do that, right? But on other products, like that's why people hate MLM. Like that gives people such a bad name. If somebody asked me, if Alita called or she sent me that message, I would not feel like this was for her gain. Her verbiage was for my gain. She was doing something for me. She was helping me. She was in service to me. So that's such an excellent way. And I'm going to go back through and type those out and we'll send them to you guys because those are excellent closing questions where you're just asking them, hey, would you like to get started? You've got to ask. It's not going to happen. I gave this lady samples. I brought her some samples the next day. I brought an order form. I walked her through the order form. They hadn't listened to a video yet. I just reiterated how much this would be. Like, she could hardly talk anymore. She knows she needs it. It's still going to be me that goes back to her and says exactly those questions, one of those questions, and gets on the phone with her and helps her through this next ordering process. The next step, that system, there's a system in place for that. That's what we're here for, is to help get them taking their Juice Plus. Okay, now let's shift. Now we've got them on Juice Plus. We have their order. What do we do to get them to the point where they're consistently taking Juice Plus and that they're going to have a good result and they're going to see the health benefits of that? Because this is where it shifts from the expense in their budget to now an investment. We need to help them have a good experience. So somebody unmute yourself and tell me, what are some of the things you do to help from the point of sale where they order their Juice Plus to the point where they have a really good experience with Juice Plus and they're ready to stay on this forever? What are some of your customer care things that you do to help them get set up for that?
I think
go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, one of the biggest things that I have learned is always follow up to make sure they are taking it and they understand how to take it. I can't tell you how many times I've had people take one capsule, not realizing that they're supposed to be taking, and they just simply didn't know, so just making sure they're taking it. Some people, it does take time to gain a habit. So helping them troubleshoot of, hey, do you put it next to your coffee maker in the morning? Do you put it where you brush your teeth at night? Just something to help get them started. So it does become a consistent habit at first is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Okay. So she said at first, is that a good conversation to have only at the 4-month mark when they're supposed to be reordering? What are the chances of them reordering at 4 months if that conversation didn't happen right away or within the first couple of weeks? Like, it's going to be right away, but then you still check in to make sure it's going to be, consistently taking it. So where are they putting it? And are they taking the right amount as quickly? Like she said, habits take time to form and develop. So it's a series of those conversations. That's an excellent resource to think about, is like, how do we help them start taking it and where are they putting it? How do we build this into a habit for them? Or what habit do they already have that we just insert Juice Plus into that habit? Is there something that they do every single morning already? So that's excellent. Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else want to add into that? Like, what are some of those things to help them consistently to get that good result? I think, Marcia, you were going to share something.
Yes, I love to start with the customer profile. As in fact, I try to remember when I'm taking the order to pull out that form and ask them, okay, what are the why did you order Juice Plus, and what are the top 3 things you'd like to see change as a result of taking Juice Plus? And I put those down in my notes, and then that's something I can follow up with as we're going through the 4 months and beyond, to see if, those things are beginning to happen, those and more, but specifically those that they want to see improve.
So excellent. Helping them have really good expectations on the product. I think Michelle mentioned that too. Not everyone sees a change right away. And then continued education, right? Continued resource. So she's going to send them information that pertains to them, send them information that speaks to the need that they already shared with her. So that was in this process, right? Where you've gathered that information. So then the resources that you share within this window are going to be what really speaks to the need that they've already shared. That's so important because they need a reminder, like take them back to this point. What was it? And then take them back here and then take them back again. Why did you order? Because sometimes they'll forget. Some customers don't need this much, right? Some customers that like by the time the 4 months comes up, they're texting you and they're like, hey, I've got 12 of these capsules left. And you're like, oh my gosh, she's so consistent. Like, yay, that's excellent. But that's typically on that second order. So Tap, what do you have to share with us?
I just wanted to back up what Michelle and Alita had said, but also I checked back to make sure that whatever we suggested as a habit, and they said, oh yeah, I'll try that it actually worked. And I do that within a few days with a note or a phone call saying, hey, did those work for you? Did you have any trouble taking them the last couple days? And if they are on it, then it's great. And if they say, well, seems like it would work, but I didn't take them yesterday. And okay, well, let's come up with another idea. What do you do every day?
Yes, that's great.
Anything you do every day, and stay on them until you find something that works for them. They're gonna get tired of you, and so they'll make something work for them. But you're all on the positive side for them.
Right.
You don't end up 2 months into it finding they haven't taken any, or they're taking one of them each day, or they can come up with all sorts of reasoning for how to take them if we don't help them get the amount into them that our studies show make the difference. Then they're not going to see that kind of difference.
Yeah. What if they start telling you like, oh, I'm super gassy, but if you never called and contacted them, are they going to be the ones that reach out to you and say that? Probably not. Like that's not usually what you call and talk to your friend about, right? So
and sometimes you even have to ask questions like that. You can tell from their tone of voice there's something there they're not saying, right?
Yes.
And so I adopt whatever it is and say, when I first started, man, I tooted so bad I could have taken off like a rocket ship. I hope that hasn't happened to you.
Yeah.
And then they just open up and they're like, well, I haven't had that problem, but I've had this problem.
Right. So being real with them, like just be vulnerable, be real, and connect back. Like they've given you a ton of content over here in this conversation. So use that content in these conversations. Thank you, Tap. Janie, did you want to hop in?
Yeah, I was just thinking too, not on exactly that same train, but I had a customer one time when I was following up with her saying how when she took Juice Plus, her stomach hurt. It made her stomach hurt. So I just asked more and more questions, and I found out she was taking it with her Diet Mountain Dew in the morning. And Julie had mentioned to me years ago that, just don't take Juice Plus or anything nutritional with any caffeine. Like caffeine should be at least 30 minutes away from that. And so obviously no one wants to be on Diet Mountain Dew, right? Like that's not the healthiest thing for you, but certainly Juice Plus works better with water. And so she made that simple change of just switching to water instead of taking it and holding off her Mountain Dew, and hopefully dropping it after a while. But anyhow, at least she wasn't taking it with her Juice Plus, and then her stomach stopped hurting. So again, just asking questions to find out what's going on.
Yeah, because who would assume that, right? Like, I bet her stomach's hurting because she's taking it with Diet Mountain Dew. Like, well, none of us would assume that. We would have no idea with that. So
yeah, I was waiting for my son to get done at the orthodontist. So he just hopped in the car. So I'm going to mute myself.
Oh, perfect timing. Excellent. Okay, Sony, you've got your hand up. You want to share?
I'd love to, but I think Courtney had hers up first.
Oh, okay. Courtney, we'll let you go.
Okay, just real quick. Hi, everyone. So I think one of the best ways for me, at one point in my Juice Plus journey, I've had over 100 customers, and it was really hard to handle all those customers. One of my biggest ways that I just really have found to be success is to set people up for what I'm going to do as far as customer care by asking them how they like to communicate, how they like to be educated, and that I will be calling them every so often, and I will have my, other folks on the line with me because I will really want to give them the best customer care and education that they deserve, so that they'll feel like I do and never want to go a day without it. So I let them know up front all these things that they're going to experience from me ahead of time, so they're not surprised when I do call them. But I do a lot of three-way customer care calls with my sponsor. That has been crucial for my business, and a lot of people really, really appreciate that. And if we don't get them, we leave them a message, and we leave them, a message saying, exactly what we would have said on the call. And then also I'll go ahead and send them a quick text message saying, I just left you a voicemail message with my friend, Kimberly, who shared Juice Plus with me 10 years ago. I just want to make sure that you knew you got a voicemail, because a lot of folks don't listen to their voicemail. They're not looking for that. So it's just another way, but I set them up ahead of time when I'm taking their order, or, when they first become my customer. So they're not, they're expecting me to call them and not surprised when I do call them with somebody else on the phone.
Courtney, that's so good. Everyone's like, yes, 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 that's good. So you're setting up the expectation that you're going to be reaching back out to them. If you go buy some supplement from Walmart or GNC or a health food store, does anyone ever call you and check in and see how that's going? It's kind of odd, right? Like, it might be kind of odd that someone's checking in on you. So they might be like, what do they want from me? Like, why are they calling? But if you set it up ahead of time, like, this is part of my customer care, this is in service to you, I don't think that they're going to feel that way. I think they're going to feel super special. They're going to feel set apart. They're going to feel like you really do care because you've had these deeper conversations with them. And then to bring your friend in, that's where your friend can often, your upline, your sponsor, whatever, is going to be able to breathe the vision and see different things maybe than what you can see, and invite into the team and the business. Like, you love your Juice Plus. Who else could we help with this? So that's excellent, Courtney. Thank you so much for sharing. I think we've got a couple more people that wanted to share. Peggy or Alita, you're unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I'm just going to mention that today is like end of the month. So if anybody has signed up brand new reps, I would, like, if it was me, I would want my sponsor to say, hey, I don't know if you're one of the ones that is driven by a promotion, but you have 10 days to accomplish this. But if you do it before the end of today, I don't know if you have a lot of orders to put in, you'll be able to go into next month with a promotion, and everything you put in next month, you'll have a higher commission level. So I think it's really important to not hold that back from people, especially people that are really wanting to grow income, secondary income for themselves, is to give them that opportunity to say yes or no and not hold it back, because there's nothing worse than finding out later that you could have had a promotion, or you could have been qualified, or you could have had an award at conference because you were qualified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, especially that being today.
For sure. This last day of the business month, my husband has said before, if you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute. And sometimes that's true. Like, we can overthink things, but then when you're down to a deadline, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, and you can just get it done. So you may have somebody that's that way, who's close to qualifying this month. Like, they may have some orders or people that they can follow up with, but if you don't let them know, how are they going to know? They're probably not looking at their numbers. If they're that close, they would know. If they were really engaged and in, they would know how close they were, and they would be finding a way to make that happen. But things can happen quickly. Like, when you start the conversations, there's orders out there. There's people that they have talked to this week. Let's bring, or this month, let's bring those back. to the point of getting that order in. This is an excellent day. Like, you can really push and get things done today. And then tomorrow is qualifiers day. So anything put in tomorrow needs to be called back to July business month. But it's so true, in true service to our team, helping them step into the month of August as a partner plus or a QSC, because they have, and it's probably more those partner pluses, you know, they just need one more order. Maybe they ordered for their husband and themselves, so they've got like 600 points, or even if they did 2 quads, they're at 840 points. Then it's up to us to help them think through. They could order samples. They could go back and talk to their mom and see if she wants to order. Like, what can you do to help them get that order so that they're walking into August 1st as a partner plus in that higher commission level? Because they do have 10 days, right? Like Alita said, but if they get that order in on the 5th, then that commission level doesn't start until September 1st. So it's in service to them to help them get that order in today. Let's finish up that promotion today. If you're close to qualifying, you just set your mind, I'm going to qualify my business today. Like, I am going to make the fountain. Like, I'm going to make the arrangement to look like a fountain. If that's the winning, if that's what makes me win, then that's what I'm going to do. If qualifying my business is part of this promote this business model, then I'm going to qualify my business, and you'll be shocked at how much can get done. Bring in your sponsor. We want to do 3-way calls with you guys. We want to be a part of that. Let's get those done. So that's a great addition. Okay, Miss Peggy, we'll end with you if you've got something to share here. I don't know if you do, but you're unmuted, so I'm guessing. No worries. Okay, Miss Sony.
Looks like Peggy muted, so I'll jump in. Hey, so I just wanted to share that how important it is to keep things relational, right? So I'm in the process of buying a business in South Florida. It's where I'm originally from, so I'm excited to get myself back home and get my husband over here eventually. And I have a customer here in the area. We've known each other for years, stayed in touch on social media. And she's very financially driven, like she works in accounting and whatnot. And so that's part of what I was reaching out to her for, because she was a customer of mine. So I wanted to reciprocate. I love reciprocation. And I think us being in that kind of mindset, in that conversation, she finally brought up how she felt like it was expensive, even though she'd worked it through to set it up to work with her budget, to eliminate some things that she'd already been, like she replaced Juice Plus by bringing in Juice Plus. She replaced those things, right? And so she said, it's just so darn expensive. And I didn't get worked up about that. I just heard what she said. And I'm like, really? You think so? I'm like, I don't know. If I went to the grocery store and tried to buy all that produce, there's no way. And she's like, oh yeah, I didn't think that. Like, that was all that I had to say. And she was good to go. So, just keep it relational. Look for, like you said at the beginning, the ways that we can offer a resource or, reciprocate if there's a business they're in. And then a shameless plug that tomorrow, Stacy Turner is our Stories of Hope series featured guest. So Stacy, is there any way I can share that flyer? Can you give me permission for that?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you can put it in the Voxer group. And Sony, excellent job on 2 things there. She mentioned overcoming objections, right? Overcome the objection and lean into it. Don't shy away. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Lean in. And when you know what the objection is, then you know what to address. Then you know what resource to send them. So in this process, either side of it, right, before they order or before, they're not taking it, we heard different objections that will come up. don't be afraid of those. Those aren't a personal attack against you or against the product. It's what's just happening in their life or their thought process. When you're stepping into that, you're going to get objections. It's okay. At least I then know where to address and what to focus on and what to give them information on. And she just casually says, like, I mean, she didn't say, "Are you kidding me?" Like maybe some people in your life, you could say that, but she said, "Oh, really? Like compared to what? Like, tell me what you're thinking on that." So just lean into that. Don't shy away from it. That's so good, Sony. And yes, we would love for you guys to join us on Sony's event. She and Deborah have done just an excellent job of being super consistent of these stories of hope events, and they invited me to be on and share my story. So I would love to invite you guys, and thank you, Sony, for opening that up, and for one, for hosting it with Deborah. You guys are doing excellent, and two, for opening it up to everyone. This will be both product and the business. I'm pretty sure, right, Sony? That's both of those. Is that right, Deborah? Yeah, they're shaking their head. So you're welcome to invite your prospects on there too, or your customers or new team, whatever that looks like for you guys. And she's going to put that in there. So we are a little bit long-winded today. You guys shared some incredible information. I'm telling you, this Zoom is nothing without you guys. I so appreciate that. So I'm going to stop the recording.